Hello again, everyone. Edwin Leonard back once again. In this YouTube astrological segment, I'm going to be talking about Mercury conjunct Pluto in a natal chart. Now, some of you may remember when I first started my YouTube astrology channel, I did a series on the aspects in a natal chart. They were a little bit concise. Some people may refer to them as snappy. So what I decided to do is make another series on them in which the videos would be a little bit longer and more descriptive. So anyway, first thing up is, well, if you have Mercury conjunct Pluto in a natal chart, the first thing, I'll look at is that there may be very intense communication, which is Mercury, about what you have that passion and desire for, which is Pluto. Now, let's say if you have Pluto in Virgo in the fifth house, right? What you have that very strong passion and desire for, could simply be, analytical, intellectual amusement and enjoyment. It could be, extrapolating, analyzing sports data, being very analytical, sports-related matters, getting, statistical data, of players in whatever sport it may be. Let's say another example. Let's say if Pluto is in Libra in the seventh house, the things that you may have that, passion, desire for, could very well be, could be Libra-related competition, games of balance, sports connected with balance, such as tennis or gymnastics, as some examples. And another thing, too, is that if you have Mercury conjunct Pluto in a natal chart, another way it may manifest is that you may often be, fixated, um, you know, basically, the mind may often be on what you're fixated about, which is Pluto. Mind being Mercury, and the fixation, obsession, of course, with Pluto. Now, let's say if you have, Pluto in Sagittarius in the third house as an example. It could be, sports-related communications, what you may be fixated on. Adventure, could be adventure with siblings, cousins, and neighbors. Maybe people that were prominent in your early education, as some examples. And also, too, another way Mercury conjunct Pluto may be expressed in a natal chart is there may be a trauma, or surgery, which is Pluto, that can be associated with the hands, the arms, the nerves, the lungs, and breathing, which is Mercury. Now, let's say if somebody were to have this, conjunction, say, in Capricorn, it may be, Pluto being Capricorn, it may be attributed to older age. It could be more, related with the bones, as far as the hands and the arms go. As an example, if Pluto's in Aquarius, it could be more of an unusual nature, and it could really, reinforce, reaffirm something nerve-related, something that may be more erratic and sporadic, intermittent, issues with what I just talked about. Now, another thing, too, is that Mercury conjunct Pluto can also be about, emphasizing short journeys, which is Mercury. It could be to Pluto-related venues. It could be something connected with horror or forensics or psychology, or even the occult, which includes, astrology. If, say, you have Mercury in Virgo, as an example, short journeys may be, well, analyzed very well, and paying that, that strong attention to detail, being punctilious with details in the process. Mercury in Libra can be more balanced in terms of the the short journeys and how they go. And the thing, too, is that the thinking, which is Mercury, can be very obsessive and passionate, which is Pluto. Um, the thing, too, is when you have Pluto, say, it's in the first house, as an example. You may be often thinking, very passionately, maybe even obsessing over the, physical body. I'd say in some, remote cases too, the thinking may even be compulsive, because that is connected with Pluto, as well. And The thing about, this is, let's say, again, if you have Pluto in, in the 10th house, or the conjunction in the 10th house is an example, the thinking, being, maybe obsessive and very passionate, pertaining to career-related matters, matters pertaining to social status, stature in life, notoriety, recognition, attaining success, as some examples. Also, too, if you have Mercury conjunct Pluto in a natal chart, another way it may manifest could be tremendous emotional intensity, which is Pluto, in matters pertaining to communication, writings, manual dexterity, which is Mercury. And, if you have, say, you have this conjunction in the second house, it may be more, communications and writings may be tied in more with monetary matters, possessions, values, one's resources, attaining greater self-worth, self-esteem, how one feels about themselves, and also matters with one's, latent talents and abilities as well. Now, another thing too is that Mercury conjunct Pluto can also be expressed in frequently analyzing, which is Mercury Pluto related subjects and matters and topics. Those things can include surgery, matters with trauma, death, forensics, investigation, embalming. It could be recycling, matters pertaining to transformation, digging deep, the occult, which includes astrology, as some examples. Now, let's say if the conjunction is in Scorpio, that could really make this even more, very intense, obsessive, and being really fixated on those matters. And the thing is, too, if you have, you know, if you have Mercury conjunct Pluto in a natal chart, another way it may be expressed is that as far as your driving may go, which is Mercury, it may be done with much passion, obsession, emotional intensity, which is Pluto. And the thing is, if you have, say, Pluto in the 11th house, it may be a lot of these short trips to places associated with your friends' homes. It could be going to places, to groups, clubs, organizations. If you have any stepchildren, there may be a number of journeys that you go there that you're very passionate about. There may also be an interest if you are somebody that's enamored, with cars, with vehicles. There may be an affinity for, transforming them. Pluto is transformation. Again, Mercury is connected with cars and vehicles, and it could either be where you yourself may have an interest in transforming. If you have certain, dexterity or ability to work with your hands, mechanical skill, or it could be just simply that you're enamored with cars that are transformed, that are rebuilt, as another example. And another thing too is that the early education, which is Mercury, may have been one with a number of upheavals and crisis, situations to deal with, which is Pluto. Now, if you have Pluto in the 4th house, say, as an example, those situations may be tied in with home, family-related matters, matters pertaining to safety, security, protection. It could be something with the less dominant parent, which is often the mother. And another thing, too, is that if you have this aspect in your natal chart, another way it may be expressed is that siblings, cousins, and neighbors, which is Mercury, may have take on these Plutonian qualities, or at least you may perceive them as such. It could be people that are very resourceful, resilient, empowering, transforming, secretive, mysterious, but may also be vengeful, manipulative, and jealous as well in some instances. Now, Pluto-related people, you know, um, which encompasses many things. People that are, it could be, those that are in intimate connections with, shared resources situations with. It could be those, they're in Plutonian professions, whether it could be something working as a coroner, a surgeon, embalming, locksmithing, or even the occult, which includes astrology. Those people may be very, mercurial, loquacious, versatile, dexterous, which is Mercury. And also you may, having this aspect, or could be having that mind, which is Mercury, going beyond superficial, going beyond subterfuge as well, and being able to go deep into matters and having a good understanding of psychology as well, which is connected with Pluto. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube astrological segment. Until next time, Edwin Leonard saying stay well.